Great. How are you,
Second
Phil?
time now, eh?
Yeah.
Thank
you, everyone.
Today?
Thank you, everyone on the call for joining us. We're joined now by Phil Neville. Phil, if you want to get us started.
Yeah. I think this could be a quick one, really, today. I think nothing's changed, really, from, well, I suppose it has changed, in terms of Rodolfo being called up. Could change our plans a little bit. Gibbs, another 3 days further on in his preparation, so good opportunity for him to get minutes tomorrow night. He would have probably got a few minutes on Saturday. Obviously didn't start. Did have a really good feeling leading into the New York Red Bulls game, so we just need to maintain that feeling going into a game against the top team in the division, and against a coach who I've got to say I've got a real big soft spot for. Met him many years ago when I was a player. Always really classy, and then spent time at the Home Depot. It was then when I visited LA Galaxy to watch the training. Always made me feel welcome. His wife made my wife feel really welcome on our trips to LA. When I landed in Miami, he was the first text I got off an MLS manager, and followed his career, ever since I met him. So I've got a real soft spot for Bruce, which will hopefully, for the 90 minutes tomorrow night, just be put to one side. But a guy with great experience who builds really good football teams, knows the players to get success, plays a really good system, and their team are really in form and tend to be really flexible and adaptable in the systems that they play. And whether it's home or away, they seem to pick up results, and we're under no illusions about the size of the task that's ahead of us to get a result tomorrow night.
Thank you, Phil. We'll go to questions now. Michelle?
Two questions. You said about Rodolfo. What is the latest status on him? Is he going to be able to play tomorrow? Is he playing out Thursday or before the game? Do you know that? That's my
Well, he trained this morning, as you saw. We literally... we found out probably through the media yesterday that he was being called up by Mexico. We'll probably find out through the media again today whether he's here for the game or not tomorrow. I think it's 50-50 whether he's here for the game tomorrow. Rodolfo himself doesn't exactly know yet, which, I suppose I'm really disappointed is that he's in a brilliant shape. The best shape he's been since I came to the club, both mentally and physically. He's ready to play well, ready to score. I'm convinced of that. Smiling, I think I was so excited to see him play against Red Bulls, and then when obviously we found out yesterday, it was a real hard one to take, because he was the one that I think over the last 2 weeks has been our best player in training by a long way. So I felt probably for the first time since I came here, I see a happiness and a smile and a sparkle in his eyes. So Mexico will get the benefit from that, I'm sure. But seeing him smile has definitely made me happy. Seeing his performances and his attitude has been great. And I think even though we're in a league where the DP tag is looked upon as obviously star players, those star players still go through bad moments. You still have bad games. You still have bad periods in your season or games where it doesn't quite go for you. And to see somebody like Rodolfo now playing with a sparkle in his eyes, I think it was great to see. And I hope that the Mexican Federation fax emails are all broken, that he can stay for our game tomorrow night. But I've got to say I'm not confident, to be honest with you.
All right. Then my second question is. It's been 18 days since you guys have played, so on one hand, you're very well rested.
Yeah.
But is that good or bad? I mean, you haven't had really games to get in a flow, to get rhythm, to get momentum. Haven't played in 18 games. 18 days, is that? Yeah,
it's 18 days, and then if you look before that, we had 3 games, and then 3 weeks before that, so it's been really stop-start. But the thing that I think's been really good is that in those 18 days we've worked on. We've had some moments where, we've ate together, we've spent time together, we spent 8 hours in the dressing room on Saturday together, which was, but the spirit, the togetherness seems as good now as what it even before it started. So Saturday I felt we were ready to play. The disappointment of not being playing Saturday was, I think the team were ready to play. They needed that game. They needed those minutes. And again, there's 3 more days. since the next game. So we'll see tomorrow night in terms of physically, if we're affected by that. We shouldn't be. We've worked them hard. They look ready. And I think, like I said last week in the press conference, it's now no excuses. It's now we have to win games of football. We have to now start climbing the mountain that's in front of us. And the determination, the look on the players' faces tells me that they're ready for that challenge.
Franklin.
Hey Phil, what kind of game should we expect tomorrow? Obviously, on the standings, we see it's New England's at the top, you guys are at the bottom, but you guys are at home. Touched on different factors. You guys haven't played, so you guys should come in rested. They played on the weekend.
Yeah.
What kind of game should we expect from Inter Miami, given all the variables? And I know that what it says on the paper doesn't necessarily always translate to on the field.
Yeah.
You're very capable of pulling off an upset, but what should we expect from Inter Miami?
Well, I think with this league, what I've learned is that you can't expect the expected. You know the top teams beat the bottom teams beat the middle teams. Everyone can beat each other. There's that much quality in the league. We've got what 4 home games now on the run, where we have to pick up points. So I'd say that the determination, the concentration, the hunger, desire, commitment from my team needs to be shown tomorrow night. And that's what we spoke about. We spoke about the challenge that's ahead of us, the mountain that we've got to climb. We've talked about the challenges that are in front of us. New England, Philadelphia, Montreal, Nashville's. These are top teams that are going to be in the playoffs, and teams that we have to beat. So there's no margin for error. There's no margin for excuses. There's no margin for us to say shoulda, woulda, could have. It's now everything that we've got. Everything that we've got in every single game that we play. And I think sometimes in life you get to a point where it's I can't say the word that I want to say because it's probably not an American thing to say, but it's now or never. It's now or never. It's now or never for this team. It's now or never for us. It's now we've got to put the foot down on the gas. And there's no waiting around. There's no waiting around. We're not in pre-season mode. We're not in sort of like that early season mode when you can recover, a few more defeats and we'll get to the point where we can't recover, where the playoffs will be out of sight. We've got to keep in touching distance. We've got to chip away at the teams in front of us. Results went for us at the weekend a little bit, a couple of draws, a couple of defeats. And now it's about us concentrating on Inter Miami, winning home games, putting a smile on our fans, supporters' faces, the supporters that went to New York, that stayed singing in that pouring rain, in the thunderstorms, the supporters that met us on the bus on the way out. Those are the people now that we've got to fight for. And that's what I expect, and that's what I'm demanding.
I just got a couple of players. One's Gregory. Obviously, he's out for this game because the game didn't happen on the weekend. How big of a blow is that for you, given that New England has some pretty good attackers, Gustavo Bo, Carlos Hill, players that can score goals and make assists? How big of a loss is that for you guys in this one? And the second one player is Ventura Alvarado, who you guys have in camp and have had him for a few weeks. I imagine you guys like him if he's been around this long.
Yeah, I think with Gregory, you're always going to miss a player. I actually think that this period is good for him. He's come off the back of a long season in Brazil, and just before he got suspended, I just felt as if his performances, but more importantly, his physically just dipped a little bit, and he needed this little bit of a break. And I think you'll see a big difference on Sunday when you see him against Philadelphia, because he's just been taken out the line for the last 18 days, which is Sunday it's going to be in 22 days. So he'll be back on Sunday fresh. He is a really, really good person, Gregory. Speaks outstanding English in such a short space of time. Now, it's outstanding English. He goes around, he makes sure that you speak English to him. He makes sure that he speaks English back to you. He's got a great personality. The boys have took to him unbelievably because he's got a smile on his face. He's got that Brazilian fun about him. And he's got that tigerish thing that we like on the field. So we're looking forward to getting him back. In terms of Alvarado, it was an opportunity that we had that we could come in and train. We had a few injuries, suspensions, and we thought, well, we're just getting him into train. He's had a lot of time off. He's a long way behind everybody else in terms of fitness, so it's going to take a long while. I say a long while. It's going to take another couple of weeks for us to really, truly evaluate him. But I think every single day he's getting fitter. He's shown that he's an international player, and he's almost Figal-like in terms of the way that he likes to play football. So we're just going to assess him for another probably another 10 to 2 weeks, 14 days. and see where that takes us. But he's impressed everyone with his attitude. He speaks good English. He's got good experience. But ultimately, the roster's tight as well. So
We're going to go to the Zoom call.
Good. Is that it?
Go ahead, Mike. Mike, you're on mute.
Okay, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Phil, you mentioned that you know the situation that you're in right now, and you used a couple words here, no excuses and hunger. Have you expressed to the boys that regardless of who they may be, their status, you're going to play the players that are the best players at that time so you can make a run to get into the playoffs?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head there, Mike, in terms of the players we put out on the pitch now are the ones that are going to fight the most, are going to run the most, and are hungry to succeed for this football club. I think this football club in the last since it started, we've had a lot of disappointments. There's a lot of expectation. There's big expectation. There's big ambition. It's now time for us to start delivering, both as a manager, both as a set of players. We can have the best Instagram accounts, we can have the best clothing, we can have the best location, but ultimately, what goes on the field is the most important thing, and that is something that I'm aware of, the players are fully aware of, that we now need to start producing results on the field. And football is a results business. This football club being in the position that it's in at this moment is unacceptable, and it's not something that we enjoy, and we want to put that right. We have got 2 games in hand now, so we have to attack. We have to attack that from now to the end of the season. I think we said it last week. 23 games is the games we've got left. 23 cup finals. I feel as though that they are, and I sense that the team are ready for the challenge. Now we need to go out there and produce. Now we need to go out there and stop talking. Just go out there and perform. Put your money where your mouth is. And that is, I think, is black and white for us as a football team, as a football club.
If I could follow up, Phil, have you had heart-to-heart talks with some of your key players that you want more from?
Well, yeah, I think Gonzalo and Rodolfo have been on the subs bench the last 3 games. We demand more, we want more, and they're ready to give us more. And it's like that with everybody. We've got a big decision to make on the goalkeeping situation. John's been fantastic. Nick's come in and been an absolute dream to work with. So we've got big decisions to make. But I think as a group, what we've spoke a lot about. Every single game, I think we've used 5 subs. So every single game you go into, 16 players are going to be going on the field for Inter Miami, and every single one has a job to play. Every single one has a role to play. Every single one has a role to play in terms of the togetherness and the spirit. And those that don't get on have a role to play in terms of their support and about the way that they are with each other, the way we speak with each other, the way that we get over disappointments, conceding goals, giving bad passes away. It's massively important in any team. The teams that I played in, the teams that I've coached that have been successful, is that when a team scores, you look at the bench. You're always strong as the bench, the spirit and togetherness of the bench. If they're jumping up, if they're together, it shows that this football club has a real good foundation, and that's what we need to start building, a togetherness of the whole club. Because I tell you what, we've got it off the pitch, we've got it in the supporters, we've got it in the stands, we've got an incredible foundation to have this football club as global as we want it, as big as we want it. Now we need results on the field, and with that becomes hard decisions. We need to start making, so not making hard decisions, but hard decisions in terms of we need to pick the right teams, we need to make the right performances, and we need to produce those moments that reward the supporters for their unshakable belief that they've had in having this football club.
Thank you, Phil.
Last question,
Mike.
Michelle.
I want to go back to Rodolfo for a minute. Why? 2 things on him. One, when do you expect to know? I mean, you really truly don't. You may not know until tomorrow or later
We're
today.
We're open today.
Today you'll find out. And the second question is, why do you think he does have that sparkle now? Was it just a fitness issue, or do you think something changed with him in the last 2 weeks that has elevated his game?
I think fitness, yes. Particularly in the last month. But I think not being selected by Mexico, probably sitting on the bench for Inter Miami, you get crossroads in your career where you say, well, where am I going to go from this? I'm just going to accept this, or am I going to fight like mad to get out of it? And what I've seen from Rodolfo is he's fought like mad. He's integrated himself more into the group. He's smiling. He's playing with a smile on his face. His work rate. He's physically in a better shape. He's lost weight. He's lean. He now looks like a real top player that we signed. And he's had great moments for this football club. And I think he's a player that will thrive when the team get better. He's a player that needs confidence. He's a player that needs everybody around him to have confidence. He's not, and when you're a number 10, you need the whole group to feel the same way for you, with you, and when you go on that pitch. And I think what he's found over the last 2 weeks, he's found the group that's united around him as well, that have given him probably the platform and the love that he probably deserves. And I've got to say, I think we've always been really strong in terms of our belief that this guy is a big part of Inter Miami. But sometimes as a player, you need to feel that from your teammates as well. And I think that's what he's probably felt from his teammates more than ever over the last 2 weeks is that he's put the work in and the group's come closer together in terms of the support for him. So he's a great kid. He's a great kid to coach. He's a great kid to have around. Just as I'm coming over here, then you pass him in the corridor. He always shakes your hand. He always has a smile on his face. He always asks you how you are, and that for me is massively important to the culture that we want to bring. And I hope that we get to see him tomorrow night. But like I say, I'm not confident at all. And if he's not here, we have other players that have got to go in and perform. Federico, Jay Chapman. Breck Shea, these players, Indiana, they'll all be given opportunities if Rodolfo gets the call up to play.
Thank you, Phil.
Thanks, guys.